Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me here today. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to discuss an important subject like marriage to all of you. Would any of you ever sit down and play a board game or some kind of a game with somebody where you didn't know the rules, you didn't know how to play, you didn't know the pieces, right? You would never do that because it's silly. What's the point? What's the purpose? You have no idea. Would you ever go on a job interview and where the person doesn't tell you what the job is, they don't tell you anything about the job, you have no idea what you're doing there, you don't know what you're getting paid, you have no idea to judge how you're doing, should you ask for a raise or not? Who knows? Of course not. Nobody would do that. Yet many of us enter into marriages like that, if you could believe it, and you know it. Who are they marrying? What's going on here? What's the purpose of getting married? Are they getting married because they don't want to be lonely? Are they being pressured into it? I mean, what is the point of getting married? And what are you trying to accomplish by being married? So you get a lot of advice from your family, friends. But when you look at them, their relationships pretty much are not what you're looking for. So what do you do? And many, many young people today do not want to get married. They don't want to end up like, I'm sorry to say, their parents, their friends' parents, their relatives, their uncles, their aunts. We're in bad shape here today. Now, over the last 30 years, people have always come up to my wife and me, and they've said, hey, you know, we always see you together shopping and walking in the street, and you always seem so happy. I mean, how do you do it? What's your secret? And you know what we tell them? It's not true. We're not always happy. But over the last 30 years, we've worked on ourselves individually and as a couple in our marriage, and we've come up with some concepts and some ideas that we put into practice, or when we put them into practice, we discovered that we have the ability to get rid of our upsets and our disagreements into a very workable form. So we have a successful marriage. And out of that, there's many, many times that we're happy. Maybe that's what they caught us at one of those moments. But we have a successful marriage. And we wrote a book called The 4 Steps to a Successful Marriage. And we didn't call it a happy marriage. And I'm going to tell you the 4 steps today. So you'll all be able to go out and have a successful marriage. Okay? All right, great. And by the way, you should know, everybody has it within themselves, the ability to have a successful marriage. All you have to do is do the work. And it's simple. Not easy, but it's simple. So I'm going to tell you the 4 steps. The first step is to pick the right person. So how do we choose the one? Do we follow what Hollywood tells us? The dime store novels? Do we look for romance? Do we look for love? Do we look for lust? What do we look for in another person? Well, one of the things I'll tell you right now is practically every person who chooses a mate chooses them from this thing that we call their pictures. It's not reality. So that's number one. We'll discuss that later. Step number 2, let's say you've got the right person. Congratulations. Now you know there are going to be some arguments. So what do you do when there's an argument? We all know when there's an argument, somebody's right and somebody's wrong, right? Everybody knows that. It's like the game that you play. There has to be one winner and one loser. Sorry, that's the way the game is played, right? So too in a marriage. There has to be a winner, there has to be a loser when there's a disagreement. Well, maybe we should take a closer look at that, because we say that there is a way that there could be 2 winners, a win-win situation. And we'll explain that a little bit later. I'll explain it a little bit later. And we call that getting off it. And we'll explain it. The third step is to know who you are and who your spouse is. What is a man in a relationship? What is a woman in a relationship? See, today, many men are trying to change the woman to be more like them, and the woman is trying to change the man to be more like her. It doesn't work. A man has to be a man to have a successful relationship. A woman has to be a woman. There's no sense trying to change the other. You can't. But if you know who a man is and if you know who a woman is, then you could deal with reality instead of hope and fantasy. So that's step number 3. Step number 4 is as follows. It's a wonderful thing to have a marriage where you go out on dates, you go out to dinner, you go to places, and you have great conversations, wonderful conversations, great intellectual conversations, emotional conversations, physical relationship. This will all build to 25 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years from now. You'll be able to look back and you'll have great memories. But step number 4, we say, is you have to add a spiritual dimension to the relationship. So not only will you connect intellectually, emotionally, and physically, but you will connect on a soul level, on a spiritual level. You will be able to connect in a way that actually 2 separate individuals could, on a soul level, be as one. Can you imagine the depth and the joy that you could have and achieve through something like that? Now, like everything else, preparation is the key before you get to the simple 4 steps. One of the keys to a successful relationship is communication. Certainly love, and we discussed that, and commitment, when we discussed that. But communication is a tremendously important part of a relationship. And we all know, and we all agree, that listening is a tremendously important component of communication. However, over our 30 years, my wife and I have discovered something that's much deeper than listening. First of all, we don't even really know how to listen, but that's another story. But we've discovered something that's much deeper and much more important than listening. And we call it recreation. Recreating your relationship. Recreating your marriage in such a way that you experience it on a much deeper and loving and happy marriage. So, if you implement some of the concepts that I just described, and it's not going to be easy. They're simple 4 steps, as you could see, but they're not easy. You too can achieve a successful marriage. There's no question about it. So once again, I want to thank you all for having me here. I'll be around later if you have any questions to ask me. It'd be my pleasure to spend as much time as you need to be here. And once again, thank you.